What's up, everybody? How's all my ladies doing tonight? I hope everybody is doing good. So, we're going to have a little couch pillow talk for this evening's session. So, I just came back from the gym, and my makeup is smearing like crazy. Anyways, so I just came back from the gym and went and laid in the tanning bed and got a very, very, very nice, relaxing massage that I much needed. So, okay, so I wanted to talk open and candidly about this new found dating world. I have no idea how to do this dating stuff anymore. Okay, so long story short, me and my baby daddy and my fixing to be ex husband, I met his family when I was 14 or 15. And so I married one of my childhood friends' family members, which usually would turn out to be pretty good, and it did turn out to be pretty good for about 20 years or 15 years, excuse me, 15 years. And then after 15 years, everything changed. The marriage went to shit. We separated. It's done. But anyways, so I am 46 years old. Okay? Back in my day, we didn't have dating apps. We had AOL at the most. Okay? So we didn't have all these dating apps and everything that everybody has now. So I'm going on these dating apps, and I have not found anything at all, really, that has piqued my interest in a man. And it's not because they're not cute, it's just we don't have anything in common or whatever. And or they have weird things going on. And I'm just gonna keep it at that. Some of them have some weird stuff going on. And then I got my first dick pic. Okay, so this is so funny, ladies. So I come from an interracial family, and we're, you know, we're interracial. And so I was this is before I started talking to somebody who I'm not going to talk about right now. But anyway, so because we haven't met yet, so I'm not gonna mention them just yet. But anyway, but there is somebody that I'm talking to, but we just haven't met yet. But anyway, so there was this guy before I started talking to this other guy, seriously. And I was I got in one of those moods for my very first booty call. Okay. I've never had a booty call like this. So it was literally my very first booty call. And so I was just feeling the urge and decided to go on Woo Plus, which is a plus size dating app for plus size girls, There are guys on there who like plus size thick girls. So, I joined Woo Plus and started trying to feel the dating vibe and everything again, right? So, let's knock it off. So, anyway, I got my very first dick pic from this dude. And damn! If that sucker was not. Jesus Lord Christ, ladies. And I was just for the first time in my life, I just had to say, that is so pretty. But I don't think I could handle that. I'm looking, I'm like, I got only so much space for her to go. And I was just like, I see what some of my girlfriends have been talking about. And I was blushing so hard. And and so like I had talked to the guy before I started talking serious to the other beau. So, this is just girl talk. So I started talking. I had hit the guy up before I started talking to the other beau seriously. And so then after I started talking to the other beau seriously, I opened up the app because it said I had a message. And I opened it and I'm like, damn, really? Y'all are built like that. Wow. And so I was blushing the entire day. And I was just like, okay, that's nice. Just, and that's all I need to say about it. But then, and then he, exited like where I couldn't message him anymore because I had gotten it like 3 or 4 days after he had sent it, but I hadn't been on because I started talking seriously to the other guy. So, and then I guess whenever he sent the message, it didn't come up right away. And so I didn't get it until after I started talking to the other beau, like on a more serious note. And then I was like, what do you do? What do you do? And then so I had already gotten to it too late and he had already deleted it or, sent it to where I couldn't message or whatever and back. But I was like, well, damn, sorry, I was a couple days too late. And, now I got this new guy that I'm talking to, kind of. And so I'm like, I don't really want to fuck it up right yet, We haven't even met yet. And, I just kind of want to meet him and see how the vibe's going. But, we'll see. And then I was like, and then there's a little business, there, not really business, but we're business mingling friends, I guess you could say. But, I was like, I really don't want to screw this up because, he's a really great guy. You know how and it sucks because I waited 6 years to get over my ex. And then the one time I'm getting ready, I'm ready to hoe, as they say it, as the girls say it. I was ready to get out my hoe bag. I meet this really great guy. And then I'm like, okay, well, he's so great. I'm not going to go and do this because it's not worth screwing it up just for a 5 minute pleasure. It's just not worth screwing it up with somebody who could be potentially great and years long or lifelong compared to a 5 minute guy. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, well, I don't want to. So I don't want to do that. So I didn't. But I was like, I was like, I was like, oh, I just can't. But if it doesn't work out with this other guy, Jay, I got you on lock. But I saved the pic. I'm just joking. I had to make a joke out of it. I don't want to embarrass the guy or anything. I just covered up his name, but I'm laughing so hard I'm crying. But it was like, so funny. Very first dick pic I ever got. Very first dick pic I ever got. And me and my new beau are both being like made on social media on Facebook. Kind of similar areas of work, but not really. But so I was like, he must get girls who do this to him all the time. And like sometimes and like the worst thing you can ever do if you are dating someone who is being made, already they're gonna have other men and women throwing themselves at the person. Like, there's just going to be people attracted to your spouse or your girlfriend. Like, that's just inevitable, But that's where trust has to come in at. But I was like, and the worst thing you can ever do is troll on their fan pages. You don't want to troll on your girlfriend's or your boyfriend's fan page, because if so, with both of y'all being made and both of y'all having men and women throwing themselves at each other, you're constantly going to be fighting. Like, you're just constantly going to be fighting. I haven't went on my both new page and read any of the comments, except for one crazy girl. Like, there was this one crazy comment from a crazy girl, and I was kind of like, oh, she might be serial killer type crazy. But other than that, I haven't read any of them, and because like I don't want to be like the jealous girlfriend, and like we haven't even met yet, so I don't even have a right to be jealous, and I don't want to be jealous like before I have a right to be jealous. So then there's that comes into play, and then you're sitting there and you're like, but then I don't want to be like made a fool of, so then you have like the guys on backup, just in case like the beau that you're talking to seriously like ends up falling short and like doesn't show up. So then you got a guy on backup who's more serious and in the area than the guy. You know what I'm saying? So then you're like sitting there and you're like going around in this whole circle in your head, like, what do you do? What do you do? So like now I'm being driven crazy again by the dating ring. And like, this is why I got married, because I didn't want to date. I wanted to just find just one that that was so freaking remarkable. Like, I never had to leave. And here I am dating again at 46. But at least I don't have any kids. And I don't have any small kids, I should say. I have grown kids, but I don't have small toddlers or infants. Thank God, because that would be scary. But having grown kids and dating is a lot different than having toddlers and infants and, all of that stuff. So it's different because it's kind of like you're a single woman. I mean, other than your kids being protective of you as their parent. You have, that's the only downfall to having grown kids and being back in the dating ring is, your kids being protective of you in that dating ring area, whatever. And so then, that comes into play. And then, like, I found myself asking too. I was like, okay, so I'm 46 and I have 3 grown kids. So, what if I get a hysterectomy? Like, should I harvest my eggs and save my eggs? What if they want to have more kids and they want to have kids with me? Like, if I can have a hysterectomy and I can still carry a baby because you're just removing my cervix and my ovaries, not my uterus or my boop boop. So I can still, like, carry a baby. Like, there's, like, artificial insemination. There's, like, different ways and different things that you can do if you talk to, like, a fertility doctor. But I'm like, do I really want to do Pampers again and bottle feeding? Like, do I really want to go through Pampers and bottle feeding and walking and potty training and all that again? And then I'm like, then I'll be 80, like when my kids are graduating college, like I'm 80. Like I'm not even old enough to enjoy my grandkids from those kids, And so I don't know, like there's like so many questions that came into play once I started dating too. And then like my new beau, like we just started that conversation. Like, what do you do if like you're dating a guy and he wants to have kids with you? And you don't know if you want to have kids or again because, you're scared and, everything and, and then you don't want them to walk away and, or like whatever. And then you want to make sure that they're going to be a good dad. And, like there's just like all these questions that like you start asking yourself, like when, and then like, it's like, but then we have to make a family and then we have to get married and, all this. And, do you really like me that much to tolerate me for like absolutely the rest of your life? And I don't know, there was just like a lot of different questions that came into play. And then like, how young is too young in the dating ring? Okay, when it comes to like this whole cougar thing or like whatever, like how young is too young and how old is too old? So I didn't really put a stipulation on that with my whole thing other than I refuse to date anybody who is the same age as my son. I cannot be sitting at the dinner table with my son and also my boyfriend who is the same age as my son. That's weird. Like that's weird. So I was like, okay, so how young is too young? And then I was like, well, what? So I was thinking, I was like, okay, well, I don't want to date a baby either. Like I don't want to date a baby. So there was like a lot of younger guys who actually hit me up. My friend James used to call me a MILF all the time. He's crazy. My little German friend, my little German boy. He used to call me a MILF. I still miss James. But I was sitting there and I was like, so how young is too young? I'm like, for me, not for everyone. Everyone's different. I'm no judgment. But how young is too young for me to date? And so I was like, I had went on. I had this guy come over to the house one time, and his name was Justin. And the only thing we had in common was music. Like it was a music relationship thing. And he left and he went to Texas to be made in gospel music. But so he left and we shipped him off to Texas. And he came over on Thanksgiving after everybody left. And so I was sitting there and I'm thinking the whole time, like, he's so cute, but he's such a baby. And so, too young for me is if I have to ask to see your ID before I do you, that's too young. So, I cannot date anybody younger than 35. I can't. You have to be out of college. You have to have your own job. You have to have your own shit together because I'm not going to ask you for money and I don't want to be your sugar mama, okay? I have enough bills of my own to pay. But anyway, so I was like, so 35 is a reasonable age for, someone who's dating, I guess. I'm 46, so that's like 12 years, whatever, younger than me. So, anyways, but then I was like, okay, so now how old would be too old? Because I'm also attracted to older guys now. Because older guys were always supposed to be more mature, have their shit together, be done with the game playing, already have all of that out of their system and is ready to settle down and play house. Women mature quicker than men. And then by the time a woman hits a certain age, her biological clock starts going baby, 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 baby. For guys, it's different. You don't have a biological clock. Women, we have that biological clock. So when I'm sitting here and I'm like, wow, okay, so my biological clock isn't ticking. I've already gotten past that. So now how old is too old? Because they're more mature and they've got their life together and, they're done with the game playing and, they want to have fun and none of the bullshit. So I was like, I can't bring someone home and be eating at the dinner table and they'll be the same age as my mother. I can't do it. I just can't do it. My mom, that would be the most awkwardest dinner in the whole world. If I